Yes, they do. And this is what we are going to study in this video. So, breathing in other organisms, we are going to study about the cockroach, the breathing in earthworm, breathing in frogs, fish. And another question, which is a very paramount question, is that do plants also respire? Of course they do. So, all this we are going to study in this video. We must remember one thing, that like human beings, the animals also respire. The plants also respire. And all the organisms, they are having different mechanism of breathing. It is only that the basic process remains the same, that is the breakdown of the glucose, whether it is plants or whether it is animals or whether it is other organisms. Now, the first question that comes to our mind is that do all organisms breathe? Of course they do. Why? Because all organisms are doing various activities, and for the activities they need energy. And from where does this energy come? It comes from the oxygen intake, and in turn, after the breakdown of the glucose, the energy is released. And what are we getting in addition to energy? That is the carbon dioxide and water. So the process basically remains the same in all the organisms, whether it is the lower organisms, whether it is the higher organisms, whether it is plants, and whether it is animals. About human beings, we studied in the previous video. I hope you've gone through that video. Now coming to this, we are going to study about the various mechanisms and what are the different organs which are concerned and which are bringing about the breathing process. Coming to the first is the cockroach. Now we know that cockroach is an insect. And how do these insects, they respire? How do they breathe? How do they carry on the exchange of gases? By exchange of gases, I mean the intake of oxygen and giving out of the carbon dioxide. Now these cockroaches, they have got small openings on the sides of their body. These small holes, these small openings are known as spiracles. The spiracles are opening into small tube-like structures. Fine? And these tube-like structures are the ones which are carrying this oxygen to the various parts of the body, to the various cells of the body, where they are resulting in the breakdown of the glucose. Why? Because they need energy for doing the various activities. Now we need to remember that this oxygen-rich air is going to enter the spiracles. From the spiracles, it is going to pass through the trachea, which are the small tubes, and these tubes, however, will lead them to the various cells. The cells, after the exchange of the gases, after taking in oxygen, they are going to give out carbon dioxide, which follows the same path that it is released or it is passed on from the trachea to the spiracles and from the spiracles to the out of the body. So this is the breathing mechanism in case of the cockroaches. Just remember that these trachea are found in case of the insects. Now coming to the next is the earthworm. Have you ever tried touching the earthworm? You feel that the skin is very slippery, it is very moist, and the reason is that it is helping in the breathing and exchange of gases. Now the gases are exchanged. How? ये gases कैसे exchange होती है earthworm में? इसकी body जो है, इसकी skin जो है, that is moist. So these gases are exchanged by a process of diffusion. The oxygen diffuses through the moist skin, पूरी बॉडी में चली जाती है, और उसके बाद में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड is released from the various cells of the body, and that is released and it diffuses out of the skin the same way the oxygen had diffused inside. So this is the process of breathing in case of the earthworm. How are the gases exchanged in case of the frogs? In case of the frogs, there is respiration. We know it is through the lungs also. At the same time, when they are in water, the respiration is through the moist skin. So the process that is followed is the same, that is the gases, they are exchanged by the process of diffusion through the moist skin when we are talking about the exchange through the skin. Now coming to the next, that is the fish. We all have seen fish. Where do they stay? Yes, you're right, they are living in the water. So to breathe, they have got a different mechanism and different organs. Have you seen the flap on the side of the fish? It just moves up and down, up and down. This is the gill cover or the operculum. And what is it covering? It is covering the gills. These gills are richly supplied with blood vessels. अब ये जो blood vessels हैं, जो उसकी gills में हैं, they are having the blood. Same way, the water which is carrying the oxygen, dissolved oxygen, that comes and it bathes those gills. And once this water comes over the gills, oxygen जो पानी में है वो diffuse होती है blood vessels में, and it is taken to the entire body of the fish. वहाँ से क्या होगा? That oxygen will be used for the burning of the food, for release of the energy. In turn, the carbon dioxide will be given out. अब वो जो carbon dioxide है वापस blood में mix करके it will come back to the gills, and through these blood vessels it is again exchanged, and the carbon dioxide comes out, dissolved in the water, and is then released out. So this is the process of breathing in case of the fish. Now, a very big question that might be coming to our mind is that now we know about the breathing in various organisms, animals, insects, fish. So, is it that the plants are also respiring, they are also breathing? Yes, of course they do. Plants, like all other organisms, are also taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide during the process of breathing or the respiration. What we need to keep in mind is that plants के अंदर दो process होते हैं. एक होता है जो सिर्फ day time पे होता है, that is the photosynthesis, in which they are making the food, and the second process is the respiration, which is taking place during the daytime, during the night time, and this process continues, and the process is known as the respiration. You must have heard, people talking कि रात को पेड़ के नीचे नहीं बैठना चाहिए, ऐसे लगता है जैसे somebody is, strangling us, कोई हमारी गर्दन दबा रहा है. What actually is happening is during the night time when there is no photosynthesis, तो plants भी oxygen ले रहे हैं, हम भी oxygen ले रहे हैं respiration में, हम भी carbon dioxide दे रहे हैं, plants भी carbon dioxide दे रहे हैं. तो उन trees के नीचे now what is there? There is excess carbon dioxide, and we cannot breathe properly, and we get the feeling that somebody is strangling us, and we are not able to breathe normally. So this is the reason that we need to remember that all the plants are also respiring. They are also taking in oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. And how do they do that? They are doing it from all parts of the body, whether it is roots, whether it is leaves. In leaves, we know there are small pores, there are small openings. What are those pores known as? Can you tell me? Yes, you are correct. They are stomata. So these small openings, they are definitely helping in the exchange of the gases. Exchange of gases, I mean, coming in of oxygen, giving out of the carbon dioxide. But how do the roots respire? The roots are inside the soil. Now we all know sometimes what happens. आपने देखा होगा कि जब आप अपने potted plants को पानी देते हो, तो उसमें से you can see the air bubbles coming out. What does that mean? कि soil के अंदर air है. So I'm talking about the oxygen. Now this oxygen is taken from the soil particles through these roots or the root hair, and then what is released in turn? Carbon dioxide is given out by the same process. Just remember, students, greater the number of the root hair, greater will be the surface area for the absorption, and this is how it takes place through the soil particles. So now we all know that whether it is plants, whether it is animals or any kind of organisms, if they are living, they need energy. For energy, they have to take in oxygen, and this oxygen breaks down the glucose, which results in the release of the carbon dioxide, water and energy. और ये जो energy है हमको different activities करने के लिए, different काम करने के लिए मदद करती है, whether it is movement, whether it is reproduction, whether it is other processes. So students, now we have completed the chapter Respiration in Organisms. I hope you have understood the basic concepts. So do like and subscribe if you have not already done so, and stay connected with me on my channel Simplifying Science. God bless you all.